Do you want a way to consistently avoid making mistakes? And in avoiding those mistakes, do you want to suffer from less overwhelm at the same time? If both of those things sound like something that you want to implement in your world, I think I've got a book for you that's going to help. Hi everyone, this is Andrew Burns, founder of Running2KeepUp.com, and this is the Running to Keep Up Personal Development Book Club. I'm going to have to rethink that title, I think, but that's what it is right now. Thanks for joining me. It's been a while since I did one of these, but today I'm going to talk to you about Atul Gawande's classic. It is a classic now, I think. It's the Checklist Manifesto. You want to see a picture of it there? Or maybe there. Or maybe both. I don't know. We'll see when I edit this video together. So yeah, the Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande. I really want to recommend this book to you. It's such a simple idea that so many problems in the world can be avoided if we build good, usable checklists to deal with them. Atul Gawande cites two different types of mistakes that people make in his book. The first ones are forgivable mistakes. That's where you didn't have the knowledge to take on the task, but you did it anyway, and you made the mistake, but there's no way that you could have seen that mistake coming, and everyone forgives those types of mistakes because you had a go. And then there are the unforgivable mistakes, where the knowledge exists for you to have avoided that mistake, but either you didn't apply it or you didn't seek it first, and you went in and you made that mistake and it was completely avoidable. That is an unforgivable mistake. Now, Atul Gawande is a medic. He is a doctor of medicine. And in his world, if you make those unforgivable mistakes, people die. Now, he gives the example of central line infections in his book. And he says that if he talks to surgeons, they all know how to avoid causing a central line infection in a patient. They learnt it at medical school. There's a 5-step process. It's very clear. They all know how to avoid those central line infections. But central line infections were still occur. So what's going on there? So there was a study set up where they observed the insertion of these central lines. And what that study found was that in 1 in 3 procedures, a third of procedures, one critical infection avoiding step was missed. 1 in 3 times, even though everyone knew how to do it, everyone had been taught how to do it. If you talked to them about it, they all knew the procedure. When it came to it, in 1 case in 3, one of those critical infection avoiding steps was missed, which is mind-boggling, isn't it? So the next phase of that study was to say to surgeons, here's a checklist. Follow this checklist every time you do this insertion of a central line, this central line procedure. And what they found was that the rate of central line infections after they implemented this checklist and everyone adhered to it, the rate of infections went from 11% of cases where there was an infection to 0. The introduction of this checklist completely ruled out the incidence of central line infections, which I think is mind-blowing. That is amazing. I think it was it was Michigan, I think. The state of Michigan implemented this checklist statewide. And over the course of 18 months, they estimated that the implementation of this checklist to avoid central line infections resulted in the saving of 1,500 deaths. So 1,500 people didn't die that would have done before they implemented this checklist. And it saved them something like $175 million in associated costs with trying to treat those infections and all of that stuff. 1,500 deaths, $175 million across the course of 18 months by implementing something as straightforward as a checklist. Mind-blowing. Now I know what you're thinking. Andrew, I'm not a medic. How is this gonna help me? And I'm not a medic either, but I love a checklist. And there are a variety of reasons, a variety of mistakes that I have made throughout my life and my career that could have been avoided if I'd embraced checklists early. So in the book, Gawande cites lots of other examples. So in the finance world, people who are implementing checklists to make more money, to stop making mistakes in their investments and making more money as a result of implementing these checklists. He cites airline pilots as kind of the ultimate checklist aficionados, I guess, the ultimate checklist users. Now, we as people, I think, maybe resist checklists. Why do we resist them? Well, there's part of us that feels like that kind of structure, that kind of step-by-step checklist structure somehow impairs our creativity. Now, actually, what I believe is that checklist frees me up, frees me space to be creative. I think that the checklists facilitate my creativity, actually, but we resist them because we feel like it's restrictive and it is going to impede us in some way, impede our freedom in some way. The other reason that we resist the checklist is that we love the idea of a superhero. We love the idea of a character who has it all under control, who's not making mistakes, who doesn't need a checklist, but who achieves these incredible things just through their force of will. And I find that quite attractive as well. And I wish I was that superhero. I'm definitely not. I suspect you're not either. Also, what I'd ask you to think about is, as I record this, we're still in lockdown. International travel is severely curtailed. But when we come out of the lockdown, next time you're on an aeroplane, think about who you want sat up in the front seat. Do you want a superhero who just knows through instinct that plane is safe, who just knows where they're going, who just, has it all under control? Or do you want someone who is going through a checklist and making sure that plane is safe for you as a passenger? I know which one I want, and that's how you have to kind of think about these checklists. Do you want to be the methodical pilot who gets everyone to their destination safely, or do you want to fly by the seat of your pants and pretend you're a superhero when in fact we both know that you're probably not? No one is in reality. So yeah, the Checklist Manifesto, it's an incredibly simple idea, but implementing those simple ideas are never simple, are they? But the tantalising promise that Atul Gawande shares with us is that by implementing these checklists into our world, can lead to us avoiding mistakes. Who hasn't had that sinking feeling when you realise that you missed something, when you realise that you didn't do something, even if it's in a process that you've done hundreds of times, you missed a step and it's ruined the whole cascade of events that's leading you to the outcome that you were trying to get to. Who hasn't had that sinking feeling? Checklists allow us to avoid that feeling. So it's a really tantalising promise that checklists can have in our world. Make less mistakes, feel less overwhelm, feel less stress, feel less panic about what you're implementing in your world, because you already thought about it in advance. It's all written out. You just need to go through step by step these checklists have real power. So what I would challenge you to do, the same as I'm going to challenge myself, is to go and find somewhere in your world right now where you can implement a checklist, where you can follow that checklist on a regular basis to make sure that you achieve the outcome that that checklist leads you to more consistently on a more regular basis and with less overwhelm and less stress in doing that. So if you haven't had an opportunity to read the Checklist Manifesto, I highly recommend it. It's a joyful book, apart from being, you know, incredibly deep and offering lots of science to back up his theories. Atul Gawande has actually also produced a really enjoyable book. It's pretty short. I think you're gonna love it, and it is gonna leave you with this idea that you can go and implement a checklist. So I challenge you to do that. Go read the book, implement what you learned, and don't forget to let me know how you get on. And I'll see you here next time for the next edition of the Running2KeepUp Productivity Book Club, or whatever I decide to call it next time, with some other combination of words. Join me next time, and we'll talk through another belter. See you then. Hey my friend, thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me that you would take your personal development time and spend it with me. I'm so grateful for that, thank you. What I would ask you to do is subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so I can let you know the next time I post a video. And if you have any comments, drop them below. I love hearing from you guys. It's your comments that really keep me on my toes and direct the next videos that I'm going to record. So yeah, tell me what you think, and I'll catch you next time.